you're gonna start checking the integrity of all your blue wrap stuff, because this stuff, if you see it's in one layer, the moment you put that down, sometimes they do have padding, but it doesn't matter. The moment it hits metal, imagine how many times it's getting transferred to metal, to metal, to metal, to metal. These always get holes in it. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna check thoroughly and make sure that these don't have any holes in it. Same with this one, and then you're gonna start setting yourself up. So you're gonna grab your tote, and again, check that integrity, because remember that clear wrapping is gonna be suspect. You never know if it's gonna be opened with the box cutters, or the more times we pick them up, our thumbs get through those packagings. I don't even know, but there's always holes in that stuff. So, and then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna make sure you have all your instrumentation. So obviously you're gonna need more things, more places to open your instrumentation, since you only have a ring stand. So you're gonna wanna go ahead and get yourself set up. So you're just gonna go ahead and grab all this fun stuff. I think that might be enough, I'm not sure. You could always use your case card as well, and you're just gonna start lining stuff up for yourself. Oh, don't mind that. So, I'm gonna put two things here. Usually, if they're going in for a laparoscopic piece, they're gonna actually wait to open all the open stuff, but this is more so possible open, so they're more so assuming that they are gonna be open, not just like a possible, but they are just gonna go in laparoscopic just to check. So we are just gonna get ourselves set up and ready for it, is essentially what's happening right now.
And that's the major, minor, and Balfour.
So it is just the major tray, the laparoscopic tray, and the Balfour retractor, and then you have your cameras and all your scopes. Sorry, we're just gonna set that anatomy in here. I think I'm missing one other piece. Oh, that piece, give it to me. It's your specimen. Okay, so keep in mind at this point the patient isn't in the room yet. You're just kind of setting up, making sure everything's lovely and ready for yourself, and you're gonna go through and you're gonna pick your inside. So let's go ahead and go through that. So for your clean area, you're gonna need another Bovie, you're gonna need another Mayo drape, you're gonna need more towels. You are going to need a stapler, you're gonna need another pack of laps, you're gonna need a pack of pop-offs, you're gonna need, we don't have monocurls right now, so we're just gonna use nylons for skin. Actually, no, just kidding, we're not even using skin, I lied. So, oh, yes we are, sorry, I lied. All right, so we're just gonna pretend that is monocryl for right now. Put this one over here, and then our PDS. Those are all the things that are gonna be in the clean part, and our Dermabond. And the rest of this stuff is gonna be for the dirty side. Now, alright, and the rest of this stuff is gonna be for the dirty side. Things that we're gonna wait on specifically is going to be the Alexis. These things are a lot of money, so we usually wait for this. And all of the staple loads. Again, we're not sure what type of size, so usually we're gonna have a cart that's gonna have all the loads and all the types of staplers in it. But for the learning purposes here, we are just going to keep this as is. So we'll go through all these things that we're gonna flip once we actually put them on the field anyways.
Well, you have to wait for something.
Alright, so these are all the things that are going to be PRN. So all your staplers are going to be PRN, your ligature. A lot of doctors like waiting for this too. This is going to be your Igloo. They're going to wait for this too just because this is extremely expensive. So it depends on what they're going to be doing. Alright, so all the rest of this stuff is PRN.
no, there's some, they're in there.
Which one do you want?
It doesn't matter, just grab me any of them.
Get masks, get goggles,
Shoe covers.
shoe covers.
These are my OR shoes.
Get gloves,
So you don't wear, shoe covers?
Can you tell her to grab me a gown?
I don't,
get gloves,
Can
get
you grab me a gown?
so it's not a requirement?
Thank you.
No, because the point is, like, you have
Alright.
your OR shoes.
grabbing two sets of gloves.
Okay.
Yep, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna grab my gloves. I'm gonna go ahead and check the preference list and ask for my surgeon's gloves. Surgeon, what is your gloves? 7? Okay. Seven, or?
7.5 and 7.
7.5 and 7? Alright, so I'm making sure to get my surgeon's gloves. We're gonna start off, so I'm gonna be the tech first, and then, I'm gonna gown and glove you, and then we'll drape, and then I'll switch off, and then become the surgeon. Alright, so I have everything. I have my surgeon's gloves. I'm gonna put my mask on. I'm gonna let everyone know in the room that I'm opening, so they need to put their masks on as well. So remember, usually anesthesia or anesthesia tech is gonna be in room, a nurse is gonna be in and out. People might be helping get all the positioning stuff ready, so on and so forth. So everyone in here needs to put on their mask. And then I'm gonna start setting myself up and opening. So my surgeon's gloves are 7.5. Okay. So I'm gonna put that over here. My gloves right here. And the gloves right here. Alright. And I'm gonna start opening this field one by one.
Do we need to flip 2 pairs of gloves for ourselves and our surgeon?
What's that?
Do we need to flip 2 pairs of gloves for ourselves and our surgeon for action?
Yes, good point. Thank you. So do you guys hear what she asked?
Good job.
So she asked if we have to do an extra set for our surgeon, and ourselves. Why would we have to do that?
Because when you do the breakdown top, when you do the transfer from dirty to clean, you gonna need to take that top layer off.
That is correct. Alright. I swear I got my brain on, I swear. Alright, so at this point I'm ready to open. I'm gonna put my gloves over here. I'm gonna go ahead, open my pack, take this, throw this out. And again, remember no sterile in between, or no unsterile in between sterile. No sterile in between unsterile. I said that properly, right? Go ahead, pop those sides off. Remember keeping your thumbs across the entire thing. And I'm just gonna go ahead and pop it on there. So look, that's close. That's pretty close to that 1-inch margin, but it's just inside of that, okay? Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and open my field. Again, remembering never putting your hands over this stuff. I'm gonna pull this out, touch that bottom area only, bend over, making sure my head's not too close to it. And I'm gonna turn it again, because I'm not gonna go in between those 2 sterile fields. And I'm gonna go ahead and open the rest of it. Okay? So, being sure not to manipulate it, pulling it too much. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start flipping the stuff that I know I need. So, I'm just gonna start flipping, flipping, flipping all of this mess. So there's a lot of stuff, so you guys wanna practice flipping?
Yes.
So come, you guys try to pick a side, flip all of that stuff onto the field.
Everything that's not inside the basin, right?
Everything, the whole thing.
The whole thing?
Yeah. But you know what, that's a good point. I think we should use another section. Because why not?
Oh, during your call?
Mario, you said you're, oh, she's supposed to be here anyway.
good. It's not hanging over. Yeah, it's good because it's not hanging over. If it's in danger of falling off, then you would let it fall.
So they try to do it as minimal as possible.
You did it.
Well, it's kind of off.
It's okay, it's not hanging off, and it's not in danger of falling. Stuff like that, you can always try to put in your basin if it's open too.
Just so you guys know, this light cord is usually
mayo,
bright,
maybe?
so we're gonna do
Huh?
Can we flip on a mayo? 'Cause this is a lot over here.
Oh, you could if it was already set up, but your mayo's not set up yet. Yeah. The other thing you'll see people do is if they've already opened their instrument pans, they'll flip into their pan, like especially,
My bad. I'm sorry.
you just contaminated
I just
it.
Hold
contaminated
on,
the whole
stop.
table.
What would happen now?
I would have to reset up,
Why would you have to reset up?
cause I just contaminated.
Contaminated what?
I put the
Everything?
whole-
Is that true?
That touched the table, no?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It did, but that's not everything. So what would you do? Let's just say hypothetically it hit. We're gonna go ahead and make a margin, an extra margin, assuming it hit extra than it actually did, right?
Mhm.
So we're gonna say it really hit about here. Let's just say it hit about here. Okay, so really everything, what you're gonna do is when you scrub down and glove, everything is gonna come off and get dumped.
Okay.
Okay? You're already gonna have your second pair of gloves on. You're gonna cover this with a mayo drape,
Mhm.
kinda like how we reinforce anyways.
Reinforce it, okay.
But so you're gonna get all this dirty stuff off, you're gonna take your top gloves off, you're gonna open a clean medium drape and you're gonna go ahead and cover that.
Cover that, and then
Okay.
reflip what
But you
you
could still
contaminated.
save all of this.
Okay, but
So
all
it
that
doesn't
would be
mean
done.
that everything needs to be gone, but you would assume that this whole part, you're just gonna get rid of. Be
Okay.
safe than sorry.
And then reflip that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you cover it up with medium drape if you're still going to, like, put a drape over it to?
Or you could reinforce, so what you could do is you could remove everything, you could take off your top gloves, take everything off, put it on your draped mayo stand,
Mhm.
if you have a cover, extra cover, right?
Yeah.
And then you could go ahead and just reinforce.
So we're
Same
supposed to
thing.
reinforce the back table, after we gown and glove?
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of stuff.
Sure is, I'm gonna show you how to deal with it in a second. Alright, so at this point, that's all pulled up and ready to be hooked up. Hypothetically, I'm gonna go ahead and start opening up my stuff, sorry, that wasn't hypothetically. So from here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start opening up my instruments, everything looks good, all my stuff is flipped. I'm gonna go ahead, turn this,
So you don't need a minor tray for this procedure?
no,
I'll change those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at that.
I'm gonna go ahead, look at this. Yeah, I kinda threw a curveball because I want you guys to do, laparoscopic and open, just because you're not gonna really have another chance to do laparoscopic. And laparoscopic's the new everything nowadays, so you're gonna be doing a lot of laparoscopic stuff, and open stuff, so it's best to get it all under one shot. Here.
That's funny, I
Alright.
exited that head yesterday. 'cause
I'll put it
I
all
asked
over
what
there in a
you
second.
do to stop
I'm
it.
gonna go ahead, open this, so come in, remember backing up, not flipping over it, and going ahead, checking the filters. Last one, I'm gonna go ahead, this one's a little finicky, backing up, going ahead, looking, checking the filters, everything looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and put these back in my cart, not walking in between any of the sterile field, I'm gonna walk around, and I'm gonna put this in. From here, I already checked the integrity, but maybe I feel more comfortable doing that again. And I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna open these over here. Envelope fold, always you first. Actually, I folded this incorrectly because technically it's supposed to be the sides next. So remember sides next.
Just
And
like
then-
your gown.
Oh, right, yep. So that's one situated, and then sometimes with these, I wait for my, nurse to come in and give them to me. But let's just say I have enough space. I'm gonna grab these, and again, opening it away, and then side to side. If I could actually get it open. Alright, and then down. is surgically clean. So we're just gonna go ahead and open it fully, right? And we're gonna go ahead and commit, so we're gonna put our hands, cover our hands fully, not letting that thumb come out. And instead of moving that towel around so it doesn't flop all over the place, we're just moving this arm, and I'm drying myself off. Same thing, I'm gonna go ahead, grab, open, and I'm gonna commit. So I'm committing, again, turning this arm, not my one with the towel in it, bending, 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 not going back up, remember, just staying and committing and going down. And now I'm gonna go ahead and carefully walk it to this area. Never once am I letting my shoulders drop, because remember that 2 inches is still surgically clean, so you gotta be careful, guys, you gotta keep your arms up, all right? Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my gown. Remember, you can always use 2 hands, so if it's all floppy and whatever, you could go ahead and quickly use 2 hands. You have 2 of them, use them, and never dropping my shoulders, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the gown. Then my nurse eventually is gonna tie me up, if she loves me enough. See how close I am when I was flapping? Remember that 1 inch that's hanging low is not sterile. I was a few inches away from that, so you really have to be careful. I'm gonna go ahead and open this. This mayo stand is probably a little too high, and then I'm readjusting and putting that bottom glove in the middle, so not making sure it's over that, or making sure it's away from that 1 inch margin. I'm gonna go ahead, never going through the cuff, stop, I'm gonna pull down, pull the rest of my glove, same thing, and now that's done. So if my nurse wants to take that, great. If not, I'm gonna cover it with a mayo. I will not lift it up off of there, okay? So at this point, before I approach the field, I am going to give this to my nurse so she could walk around and hand it to me. My nurse has very special scrubs on today. It is formal night in the OR. Okay, so at this point, I've spun, I have my gloves. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find my gloves and I'm gonna put my second pair on, because what can happen is I could pinch something, or something could pinch me at any point, and it could make a hole in that bottom glove, as now I've contaminated stuff, right? So spin first. Next thing you do is put your second gloves on. Now let's just say all of this was contaminated, which technically it was. What I would literally just do is I would just grab everything and dump it. Then I would take my gloves off, move everything else, drape the mayo, so on and so, and just continue, and then ask whatever I turn off to be replaced, okay? But we're not doing all that, because nobody has time for that nonsense. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead, Cookie Monster, struggle for some reason, putting my stomach up against, making sure that this doesn't drop any lower. If that falls right now, this is contaminated, and I would need to ask my nurse to take it back. Since I'm already here, I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna start reinforcing this, getting this all ready. Technically, if I was smarter, I could have grabbed 2 instead of going back and forth. You guys will do better. Okay, I'm gonna kiss my fields up together, making sure that that drape is fully down in the back, okay?
So it's the crow car that's hanging off contaminated now?
No, it's still in the sterile region.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a good question. Technically, per AST standards, anything hanging off is not supposed to be used. We're not gonna implement that, because it's just like the one thing that, if you think about it, again, like that mayo stand's kind of like hanging off of itself. You know, no hospital is gonna be like, oh, don't do this. Oh, so here's what my solution was gonna be to this, is you really just dump everything into your basins. All this goes in your basins. If you're smart, you'll already attach these. One less thing you have to do later, okay?
So when you do the count for those, do you count those together or separate?
We don't count those, do you? Yeah, I've never counted them. So again, until it gets lost in the patient, it's not getting counted. So thankfully, those have not gotten lost in the patient yet.
We
So-
didn't count rulers and pins.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I still don't know, we count those big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Alright, so I'm just going ahead, grabbing everything. This is the wrong tube. This is not a suction tube.
Neither is that.
you stop it just like when you see it's about to fall? Like when they fall?
As long as you keep your hand up here, yeah. Alright, that up there. Now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna reinforce my field. Remember, I'm just gonna commit, I'm gonna open it. The moment it goes off the edge, there's no bringing it back up, alright? I'm not dropping my hand. If I want this straight, I'll go ahead and make it straight. Oh, I had a section tip already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Thank you, though. Alright, so now everything's reinforced. I'm gonna start getting my instrument done. So I'm gonna go ahead, look, I'm gonna make sure that there's an indicator. I
Wait.
see an indicator.
Wait, we have a question. What?
When do you reinforce the second Mayo stand?
When I get that stuff off of it.
And take that stuff, okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and remember, I'm not gonna go in between this field. If you need this turned, if you want it turned that way, then you could turn it like this and go in, but you can't go in between because your box is gonna be up against the field. Okay, so I already checked. I'm gonna make sure that that's not wet. Love it, great. All right, I'm gonna put my major tray closest to me. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna check and see if there's an indicator in here. There's a sponge in here, so that would technically be unsterile. Honestly, I did not really set this up very well. So let me grab that real quick. If that does happen and you do have something that's gonna spill out like that, that inside of the carriage is still sterile unless your nurse puts their hand in there.
Yeah.
So you can still go in and grab it. All right, that's still sterile. As long as it doesn't touch the outside, it's fine. All right, now I'm gonna just continue on. Technically, I could drape this, but I'm just gonna wait a second and just finish up what I'm doing. I see the indicator. I'm gonna make her check the bottom part. So I'm gonna wait. She says it's good. I'm gonna put this down over here. I'm probably gonna get rid of this tray in a second. Now I'm gonna go over here and I'm going to wait. My nurse has to come and look just like a filter. Okay, so before I even take it, I'm gonna make sure that there's an indicator in there. It's good. So she's double checking again, just like a filter, to make sure that that doesn't have any holes. Same thing, I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna go ahead, take this lid off. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab these. I'm happy there's an indicator in there, great. She's gonna check that. I waited until she told me it was good. And again, I'm gonna go ahead, take these, and I'm gonna wait for her to tell me that it's good.
It's good.
All right, so now everything's good, everything's happy. I'm gonna go ahead and drape my ring stand. At this point, she's probably gonna go ahead and run off, and she's gonna start checking on the patient. She's gonna start interviewing them, okay? Remember, I'm never dipping my hands low. I'm just going from the inside out, and now I'm gonna have my fields touch. And now to your question, that last, so remember we always go in order, right? So we went from here to here, and now here, and now here. Nothing's ever in between that's sterile. Does that make sense? Okay. So now I'm gonna go ahead, dress this, and cookie monstering it through, keeping my hands crossed, keeping my elbow crossed. Alright, so now I have everything. It doesn't really matter what side I put this on. I'm gonna put it over here with all my other stuff for right now, just because I don't know why.
So what's the best way to go about that with the second nail stand?
Whatever you want. I mean, it's not right or wrong as long as you have your flow down. To be honest with you, if it were me, I would actually have my Mayo stands over there. And that's something that was my fault. I should have thought of that ahead of time, so that while we're setting up furniture, we kind of have to think of where we're setting up, where we're coming in.
But you can't
Where
rearrange it.
we can, but it's,
Purposeful.
yeah, you want to go in purposeful movements. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna start getting ready for my Mayo stand, just to start clearing stuff out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead, set this stuff up.
Yes, that's the camera and the light
Yeah.
cord.
Thank you. Sorry guys, I'm still half sleeping, so. Huh?
She said you need to wake up.
Alright. I do need to. I do. And now it's really just about me setting stuff up. So this is gonna take a minute, but I'm just really get everything that I need where I want it. And then I'll kind of explain to you who, what, why, when, and where.
So that's the dirty, mayo that you're setting up first?
Mhm. Yep. I already have a bogey on that one. Okay. So, forward. 1, 2, 4. So again, I'm just trying to intentionally touch things. I'm gonna need another pack of towels. So I'll ask my nurse for another pack. I'm just gonna set my surgeon's gloves up now. There's a second pair. I have my gloves somewhere. Keep in mind these laps are not gonna be separated, they're gonna be new, or actually put together in a real pile. But for right now, again, we're just kinda going through. Alright, so this is gonna go here, this is gonna go here. So at this point, you can go ahead and wait for all your sharps from your counting. As I'm touching these trocars, I'm just gonna start putting them together, and making sure that they're all in the closed position. And you guys will be able to see that hole when you look in here, if it's closed or not. It's always gonna come open, and then you're gonna close it because you don't want any of the insufflation that they fill up to get out as they're insufflating the body. I thought I put one in here, but I'm gonna need two medicine cups also.
Okay.
Well, one medicine cup and one, whatchamacallit. I know. You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so now kind of my next thing that I'm gonna wanna do is I'm gonna wanna start clearing my way to be able to set up. So I'm gonna take this Bowel out and get rid of this tray just so I have some extra space. So I could go ahead and give this to my nurse if she's there, or I could just go ahead and put it on top of my case card. And then, making sure it doesn't fall off the table, which it probably will, I'm gonna set up my major tray.
So the other thing you need is a specimen.
Huh?
Yeah, I got you a medicine cup. What was the other one, a specimen? Do you have a specimen?
Yeah, I need a specimen cup and I need like a medicine cup, so. I'm just gonna go ahead, I don't know how I wanna make my roll. How do I wanna make my roll, guys? I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I teaching you? Why am I here? Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and make my really sad excuse of a roll because you guys know me, I'm really lazy when it comes to rolls. Huh? Yeah, it really is. Alright, this is coming apart, so I'm gonna quickly go ahead and fix it real quick, and then I'm gonna turn it over, because remember we want those most used items closest to us.
Not this one?
I thought it was supposed to be closer to the mayo.
So it depends on where the mayo is gonna be. So remember, I already said that I didn't really like the placement of this.
Okay.
I should have thought about that before, and that's my fault, right?
So, okay.
But it's gonna always go towards the sharps, and the sharps are always gonna be closest to how you're gonna pull up to the field as well. Alright, here we go, my horrible sad excuse of a roll.
Ugh,
Think this will be big enough, or you want that bigger?
it doesn't matter, I don't care, just give me any type of cup, one specimen, one whatever. There should be specimens in there, specimen cups, I'm sweating.
I know, but
Wanna turn the fan on?
Sure.
Where's the fan at?
Okay.
Alright, so remember I'm gonna set this up, teeth on one side, no teeth on the other side.
You could put it on.
And I'm already knowing what I'm putting down, so I don't really have to look as I'm counting with my nurse, because I'm already knowing what is what. Keep in mind remembering to pull this out also, so stuff doesn't get attached. Perfect. And remembering that my saline and my medicine cup is gonna be right here for my nurse, okay? Alright, that's good. This stuff, I'm gonna go ahead, put in between. And I'm gonna let my nurse know that I'm getting ready to be available to count. So whenever she's ready, I'm ready. So we'll go ahead and count. There's count sheets in there with the laparoscopic stuff. I'm gonna have to print stuff out for you.
okay.
So you don't count the trays together, you count them separate, right?
Huh?
You count the trays separate, right?
Yep. So you never intertwine the trays, right? Sorry, this is an absolute mess.
Yes, so to clarify, if your major tray has a debakey and your laparoscopic has a debakey, it's not two debakeys. You count the major pan with its instruments and the laparoscopic pan with its instruments.
So at this point, the patient's probably in the room, or just about to be coming in the room. Alright, so we're gonna start with softs. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna count my laps, okay? Actually, just kidding, I'm gonna count my Raytax, I lied. Don't listen to me. So Raytax, I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're gonna pretend that that one in there is not there. Since I'm touching this stuff, I'm just gonna throw all of this out for right now. I know I tell you guys to be organized, and now I have a gigantic pile. I'm gonna look around and make sure I don't have any other Raytex. I don't. Alright, laps. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And don't forget, I put them over here too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I have a ruler. I just kind of count as I set up. You guys probably won't do this right away. It's just kind of how I function. Fred, I'm gonna have Fred, I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3. What else do I have that's not a sharp? I have 1 pen and 2 caps. 1, 2. I have a ruler, already said that, just kidding. Alright, and then I have 1 scratch pad. I have 1, 2 Bovie tips. I have a Yankauer, 1, 2. And then I have a Varus needle. Sutures total, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Again, these are going to be the monocryl. 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Those are ties. Let's see what else. I have 1 hypo, good for our disposables, sharps, and softs. I love this. Alright. So for our major tray, I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Cryles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Kellys, 1, 2 tonsils, 1, 2 right angles, 1, 2, 3, 4 Cokers, 1, 2, 3, 4 Alice, 1, 2 long Alice, 1, 2, 3, 4 Babs, 1, 2 long Babs. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Forster sponge sticks, and then Etna's. I have 1, 2 back costs. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 needle drivers total. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scissors. I have 1 mayo, 1 long straight mayo, 1 Mets, 1 long Mets, 1 curved mayo, 1 long curved mayo, and a bandage. Forceps, I have 2 long rat tooth with teeth, 2 short rat tooth with teeth, 2 Adson with teeth, 2 dressing forceps, 2 short DeBakey's, 2 long DeBakey's, 1 Russian. Retractors, I have 1, 2, 3 ribbons. I have, alright, so what happens if this is together?
You take it apart.
No, this is unsterile.
Oh,
Every single
because
thing.
it came in there together, it's supposed to
Every
be
single thing
separated.
that I just touched now has to be broken down. This whole entire setup needs to be pulled. That's thousands of dollars because I didn't look at that. Okay? So you gotta be careful that it can never be together. Okay? It has to be. Yeah, so when you're looking for that indicator, you wanna also make sure stuff like this isn't happening. Okay? Because now literally thousands of dollars. Everything I touched.
Don't touch it at all. Okay.
Or if you touch it,
So
take
you'll
your
lose
gloves
your
off.
job if something like that happens?
No,
Make
no,
it-
You have to get new everything.
restart, you have to get.
No,
new
like in the
everything.
beginning.
No, I mean like.
Oh, in the beginning? Yeah. Alright, so I have 3 malleables. I have 2 pieces, pull and guard. I have 2 rakes. I have
Surgeon's mask.
1, 2, 3 small, medium, and large Army Navy, or not Army Navies, Richardsons. I have a Sweetheart. I have 2 Devers. I have 2 Boulets. I have 2 Army Navies and a Wheatlander. And I have 1, 2, 3 knife handles, a long number 3, a 7, and a short 3.
Counts correct?
And then we're gonna go ahead and we count these also. I'm not gonna go ahead and count these right now specifically because I think still there's some stuff in the room. But you'd go ahead, you'd change count sheets, and now you'd go ahead and move on to this one. Then you'd move on to your bowel floor, and then you're good.
So how do
Okay.
you count all of that?
So
inside
show
the
them
tray?
how, we need to show
Huh?
them.
How would you count all of that inside the tray?
So what I would do,
That's a lot of stuff.
yeah, it is all a lot of stuff, and this is a small table too. What I would do is I would just go ahead and pull it apart.
You can sit that on the other stuff?
I mean, not for long,
Yeah,
but
cause it
yeah.
would fall off, but yeah, if you had to.
So it depends on what you're doing. This
Okay, so you can
stuff I'm
stack
gonna
it
put, again, remember this sponge is not on this right now. So I would try to figure something out, and I would probably count first, and then I would, so I'm not wasting my nurse's time, I would count first. So I would say, all right, Cryles, I have 2, 4, 6. Tonsils, I have 1, 2. Kelly's, I have 1, 2. Well, you know what I mean? So I'd go through this stringer real quick. I count the rest of this stuff. I count this stuff. And now at this point, the counts are good. So now I get to play around and organize it a little bit more. So let's do that now so I can organize it. You can pause
We
that
can't
if you
just
want.
use 2 tables for the count.
Huh?
We can't